What is up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of the What the Fanboy podcast. This week it is Luke and Brett again. The dynamic duo strikes again.
Oh.
He's leaving me hanging, but that's okay.
I was bumping.
Hey, you good. You good. Yeah, so we're back again. Missing Tyler just one more week, hopefully, this week. But he'll be back and hopefully ready to give us some of his thoughts on the things we're talking about this week. We'll get to next week. In the meantime, Luke, who's playing tonight?
I'm currently watching Iowa and LSU playing the Elite Eight.
Ooh, who's the favorite here?
Iowa, they're a 1 seed.
Oh, they're the 1 seed. I have followed the tournaments this year 0%. So,
It's been fun.
Good.
I love basketball.
March
Madness is the best.
Should watch more, but alas, time is escaping me somehow.
Yep, March Madness is got one more week left, and then soon it will be NBA playoffs, which I am very, very excited about because the Thunder clinched a spot already. Yeah, they're back, baby.
I love it. Well, all right, we can jump. Don't look at how blank this sheet is here.
Got Dune Part 2 notes right there, I can see. Could clearly been using this document.
Hey, I reuse the same document every week for my notes. But yeah, we had at least one new trailer this week, maybe two.
I think they're both new.
New?
They were both new for me.
Okay, what we got?
First one is we got a new trailer for Bad Boys 4. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Will Smith is back.
Is this his first film really publicly since the big...
Was his Apple movie after?
That wasn't... Yeah, it was...
It may have been filmed already.
It was filmed beforehand, but yeah, it released shortly after that. Or I feel like maybe they even delayed it like 6 months. And then it really wasn't talked about.
Yeah.
To no one's surprise.
Anyway, it was good to see him back in a movie trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I remember liking all the Bad Boys movies. I think they're fun. Who made the third one? Because the first two are Michael Bay.
I just kind of assumed they were all Michael. At least Michael Bay produced.
Yeah.
I don't know who directed the third one.
I can't.
You said you watched it though, right? And remember liking it for the most part?
Yeah, I remember liking it. I remember thinking it was a lot of fun, and they like added to the cast. They had like this young special ops squad that was kind of doing these missions with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and I remember it being a lot of fun. But I think all of them are fun. I think they're funny movies. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are great together. Oh, that's right. It was the guys who were gonna do Batgirl.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
Or I shouldn't say that. Who did Batgirl?
They did Batgirl. Batgirl was a film. R.I.P. Batgirl.
Freaking dumb.
We remember you.
And let's see who's
We'll never see you, but we remember you.
Bad Boys Ride
or Die.
They really dropped the ball on the name titles, though. I gotta say. Like, it should be Bad Boys for Life. Oh, same guys.
Okay.
It's the same guys. This is great.
Okay.
So I'm even more excited
Luke's
now.
in. I'm
in.
I give this trailer a thumbs up. It looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, and look. This is the squad from 3.
Oh, so they're back.
The squad is back. They're probably going to kill them off, dang it. They were really cool.
Yeah, what happens? Get the squad back together just for just to kill him off later.
Yeah.
So, and then what's our next film trailer?
Filmed TV show, limited series. I don't know.
It's on Max.
It's on Max. And it's going to be a new series, The Sympathizer, with Robert Downey Jr. and what's his kid's name? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce all the names, so I'm not gonna try.
That's okay, Luke. I don't blame you.
But it's a kid during the Vietnam War. Kid, I shouldn't say a kid. It's a young lad.
Young man, man, come here.
And he looks like he works for the CIA during the Vietnam War, but he might be working for Vietnam,
the Communist Party.
Yeah, the Communist Party back home when he goes back to America. And it's like, I'm intrigued.
Look, it looks like an excellent espionage kind of thriller.
Plus period piece.
Period piece. With Sandra Oh.
Sandra, yeah.
Sandra Oh is in it. And of course Robert Downey Jr. Academy Award winner.
They flashed that for a long time in the trailer. They wanted to let you know that he won the Academy Award for Oppenheimer.
He won that Academy Award. Yeah, no, I'm in. Thumbs up for this trailer. Thumbs up for this show or film or whatever did we decide what it was? Limited series.
It's a show. New limited series.
Limited series.
Okay.
I think this looks excellent. So
yeah, looks very good.
I feel like sometimes those kinds of things can be hit or miss, but especially when they're a limited series and they know exactly what they're going to be, that's when I have the most faith. Shogun's an example of that. I think right now you and Tyler have been heaping praise on that show.
I'm all about that show.
Limited series, so
that show is so good.
Yep. Well, cool. I think that
those were the only two trailers.
Us to the end of our trailers. So, we're blazing through this episode, and I am loving it.
30-minute episode?
Heck yeah, let's knock this baby out.
I just guaranteed us to go for the next 2.5 hours.
I know it. So, in a world full of sequels, we got another one this week in the legendary MonsterVerse. Godzilla X Kong, but apparently the X is silent.
We did the math on it last week.
We did.
Godzilla times Kong equals the New Empire.
Yep. The New Empire. Spoiler alert. There's no New Empire at the end of this, is there? I mean, I guess kind of.
Yeah, there is.
Just...
There definitely is.
I don't know.
There's two.
I didn't walk out of this movie being like, this title makes sense. I did start singing "Let My People Go" very quietly to Stephanie at one moment in this film. Deliver us to the land you promised us.
Deliver us
to the promised land.
I had and you can see this in my Letterboxd review because it's the only thing I really talked about in it. But one of the songs they played in the film was "Twilight Zone" by Golden Earring, which is one of my favorite songs.
Did you feel like it was an excellent use of the song?
I don't care. I just gotta hear it.
You just gotta hear it. Okay.
Like the vet tracker guy, you know, that character. I don't even remember his name.
Tracker. It was Tracker.
He was playing it in his super Vetmobile to put in the new tooth. And I was just like, it's about time this song made it into a dang movie. It is a great song. Man, I listened to it a lot over the weekend as I've been just driving around.
Nice. I did not listen to this soundtrack or that song, although a fine use of it in the soundtrack, I suppose. Look, I am notoriously a hater on this. For where this franchise has gone, I think the first two films in it were amazing, and so much fun, and it's kind of, I think it's devolved. At the same time, it knows what it is now. It's very clear that it knows what it is, and I think it does what it's trying to do pretty well. So I gotta give it kudos on that. Didn't overstay its welcome. Full of action. Big dumb monster fight action. But for the most part, it's pretty well shot. It's all CG, but it's easy to follow fights. It's easy to tell what's going on. Maybe my biggest criticism might be like I could have used more Godzilla in this film.
I think if you're a Godzilla fan,
Yeah.
more than a Kong fan, I think you could have some disappointments in it. Godzilla is he's more of a side character.
Yeah.
He's pretty important, but it's also just a problem with Godzilla. You can't personify Godzilla like you can Kong.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Kong can go where Godzilla just goes.
Yeah, and they've even gone way deeper into giving Kong human emotion, like human emotes, right? Like you can really tell Kong is a character that is not just a giant monkey, which I think that's a fine decision. It does. I think it helps with the problem of if we're gonna spend 90% of our budget on good CG so that we can have these characters on screen more and not pay A-list actors to be in our thing, we need to have those not so the story is not written for the humans. And so like as hard as Brian Tyree Henry tries, like I'm just never that interested in what his character is doing. So you give a little more emotion to Kong, and he can become your lead character, and that's what he does. No, Godzilla really is Gandalf at the end of Two Towers, right? Like he's there to show up for the final fight.
Godzilla is just
they show him doing a few things in the meantime.
He's just getting his power-ups throughout the movie because he knows there's a fight coming.
Yeah.
Whereas Kong is trying to find his family. Kong just wants to belong somewhere. But I don't mind any of that. I'm one of those people that does not mind it devolving at all.
Yeah.
Like, and I won't say it hasn't, because the first two movies are absolutely the best. They're incredible. But like,
I don't know if you could do a franchise on that formula though.
Yeah.
Right? Like I get why they've done this. There's precedent and history of Godzilla being goofy even in Japan, right? Like you watch any of those Godzilla vs. Mothra films, and
dude, the gif I always see is him sliding
on the tail. Like it's a product of its time, but it also is a little goofy. So I think it's okay for this version to embrace that goofiness every once in a while. Would I like more serious stuff every once in a while too? Yes, luckily we got that last year with Godzilla Minus One. Honestly, if we hadn't gotten Godzilla Minus One, I don't know if I would have enjoyed this as much. But because we got that, I think it makes my enjoyment of this just a little better. So
yeah,
hot take maybe, probably not. Probably not that hot of a take.
I also think Godzilla Minus One helped this. Also, just for the reason, like, it did great at the box office.
It did very well at the box office. Yes.
So
guarantee we're getting more.
We're getting more. Which I'm all about. I love watching giant stuff beat the piss out of each other.
At some point.
It's my favorite.
Ghidorah's got to come back at some point.
Well, I don't know wasn't he inside of Mechagodzilla?
Yeah, but I think a lot of people missed that. Yeah. We got to have Three-Headed Dragon back. Yeah. We got to have Kong punching one head, Godzilla fighting the middle head, and then, I don't know.
Let's see.
Get Spider Crab creature. Oh no, he's dead. The number of monsters in this.
There was a lot of monsters.
Big pro. Not many of them had much screen time, but you got to see some cool fights between both Kong and Godzilla and these other creatures.
Yeah.
So, the one in the North Pole, the dragon, the water Tiamut was really cool.
Yeah.
I wish we could have gotten a little more with him, but still.
I do wonder, like, too, just as a director, where you're gonna have just, let's say 60 to 70% of the movie is CGI fighting. How do you know when, like, too much is too much?
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, we take this out here because otherwise people, by the time we get to the big fight at the end that everybody actually cares about, we might be bored.
Right.
And I think he did a good job of kind of managing that. I thought he chose the fights well. I think there's some surprises in the fights with just like how fast some of them are.
Yeah.
Because our characters are they're really cool and they have sweet power moves.
At this point,
beat stuff.
They are right. Like they're at the top of their games,
Mm-hmm.
respectively. I think, and so it makes sense for some of those fights to go quick. Some of that's probably a budget thing, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
some of it is also just like okay, not every fight has to be 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
I also think they did a great job at diversifying locations of fights.
North Pole, Italy,
Yeah.
France at night,
Egypt, and
Hollow Earth.
Yeah. And Brazil.
Brazil. That's
Brazil.
right. That's right.
Rio de Janeiro.
They always show
Yeah.
it was an Easter movie.
It was.
So it showed-
It's got to feature Jesus.
Showed Jesus on the Redeemer.
Christ the Redeemer.
Christ the Redeemer, that's right.
Yeah.
Dom Toretto was down there going.
Dom Toretto's weaving in and out of these.
Still waiting for that
modules
crossover.
with his what he stole a safe, right, in
Yeah.
Rio. That was the safe. I can't remember.
Just rolling around his Dodge Charger.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Such an amazing movie.
Insane movie. Do you think we will continue to see these characters? Sorry, I guess we're kind of thinking about moving on. We just talked about how opening weekend it did really well. It's doing well. It did really well overseas. Do you expect to see these characters again, or are we kind of going to get a soft reboot on the characters, you think? The human characters. Obviously Kong and Godzilla are here to stay.
I think we'll get new human characters. Well, I don't know. I think about it, and I think the Rebecca Hall and her daughter might stick around because the daughter has a connection to Kong, and obviously like kind of
they do a nice little tie. If they wanted to end their story here, they could.
Yeah,
but I think that
her connection to another monster.
Yeah, the daughter is actually, I think, maybe a highlight of the. She's always been good, but definitely a highlight in the human characters. But yeah, she also has a very important role to play in the kind of mythology of the world and as a relationship with Kong, kind of that human connection. Could be an interesting thread to follow. I was kind of saying earlier, I wouldn't mind if we got away from the whole conspiracy podcast vein of thing. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of done with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to bring back Millie Bobby Brown or anything like that, but let's just find someone else. And
obviously we have our characters from Monarch show too.
That's right. I'll be honest, I did not even really think about how Monarch connected to this. It was very light, other than
I'm honestly just wondering, like, when did Monarch go into production when this had gone into production?
Right, yeah.
But like
over in the chat, Tyler, we miss you too.
Oh,
buddy.
Tyler. Come hang out.
Walk over here, coward.
Ride a bike.
Oh, no. Don't do that. Don't. Just a little sore. Yeah, it's okay. Anyways, back to
giant monsters fighting each other.
I
think the new movie would have to kind of lean more towards Godzilla.
I sure hope so. I wouldn't mind that.
Or at least just balance the scales a little bit. I mean, Godzilla did get 2 movies. Okay. And Kong only got 1.
Godzilla gets first billing. He's just barely in.
Godzilla got to beat Kong. But couldn't
beat Kong. Godzilla was always going to beat Kong.
Yeah,
there was never a Godzilla got to beat Kong.
But Kong had to help Godzilla beat Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have had to if Kong just would
Power
have
of-
shown up
The power of
at the
teamwork.
first, if Kong hadn't shown up in the first place, Godzilla would have been at full power. He would have been fine against Mechagodzilla.
I don't know. It's just an upgraded version of Godzilla. And who knows how to fight Mechagodzilla better than Kong, who just lost to him, learned through failure, and was like, oh, got it. I got to duck and weave and punch. And he had his axe then.
He did have his axe. The axe is, still around, but not the only weapon used in this film. Kind of in the trailer. I don't think this is much of a spoiler. The Scar King is kind of the main antagonist in here. He gets to use a giant bone chain whip thing.
Yeah. That controls a monster.
Yeah, that's right. That has a little magical thing that controls a monster. Oh, I saw what they were doing with that monster from the first moment that we saw him come out. It was like, oh, I know where this is going. Okay, cool.
I see where it's going, and I like it.
And I'm on board. Yeah, don't be mean to animals.
Yeah, don't be mean to animals. That's mean.
Yeah. Indeed. Broke, welcome to the show. It's good to see you in the chat, man. I don't know, what other pros do you have for this film?
I thought this movie was funny.
It's funny in
I think like there's some comedic gags in it, like that Kong does.
Yeah.
That are really funny, and it's really there's two fights that are just I think are so awesome that I don't want to ruin them.
No,
and don't
I hate to spoil them.
let Twitter ruin them either because they're so awesome. Like Tyler, there's a moment in the trailer where Scar King whips the building and throws it. It's got nothing on the moment on what Kong uses to whip her. Oh my gosh, dude! Like legit, when he started fighting with that, I was like, "This is the best movie I've ever seen."
We had a
Oh
group
my
of probably
God.
college age boys in front of us who, when the credits started rolled, just stood up and like, man, that moment was the best part of the movie. It's like, yeah, it's great.
Oh,
It's hilarious, and there's even some stuff late in the second act with like Tracker and Bernie that I think works pretty well, and it's because it's not leaning too heavy on like the conspiracy theory stuff.
they're just kind of doing stuff.
They're just kind of doing stuff. Yeah. We also get. Oh, I just remembered what's his face from Andor, the grumpy
the
grumpy Empire
Security
security man.
mm-hmm.
Same exact character as he is in Andor.
Hey, he knows his role.
He knows his role.
He's good at it.
Man, that accent is thick.
Fan.
Yeah. So he was fun for a while. But yeah.
I do think a good thing about this movie was they had a lot less human characters.
Yes.
There's 4.
Yeah.
There's 5, and one of them dies.
And they're all
quickly.
together.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're not doing the whole these people are with Kong, these people are with Godzilla, and they're like traveling. We have to keep track of like 3 different storylines. They're all together. We're gonna throw them into Hollow Earth and just let them go explore.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And
that's a great decision.
I do think one of the things they could have even sped it up more. Like there is stuff just in the beginning of like, hey, like what's going on around here? Like why are these things going off?
Yeah.
Just have the security camera show other monkeys.
Yeah.
And just go. Like,
yeah.
There doesn't need to be a big build up. We're just here to watch stuff rock 'em sock 'em.
Yeah, and because I'm not sure that you think too hard about this movie for 4 minutes and you're gonna start poking plot holes.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
But like some of that stuff does not make sense with what they're trying to imply, with what is happening in the Hollow Earth. I don't think. Like the whole existence of other monkeys with, like it's basically they're all kind of trapped on this one place, but apparently Scar King is just out and roaming about every once in a while on his own. But that doesn't fit his character. Not that he really has much of a character, but He's just big bad guy. I don't know. Like you could have really just started off. Hey, thing gets destroyed. We gotta go down and check it out.
Mm-hmm.
You could have even had a little bit more of an early on, because you could have maybe the Monarch would have sent more resources, more troops. You could have had a human versus monster battle there that could have been interesting, and most of them get wiped out, kind of a thing. I don't know. Mm-hmm. We're workshopping it, and it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine the way it is.
It's fine how it is.
But you're right. It could have got it started a little faster.
The good thing is they didn't overcomplicate it.
No.
And that's really nice.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, we got to go down here and do this thing. Great. Giant monster fight.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's under 2 hours too, which I think is a pro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's not draw this thing out.
Yep. It probably could have been 140.
Yeah.
Is I think what we're saying. I don't know if it could have dropped to an hour and a half and not felt incredibly rushed, but
it could have been even shorter too if movie theaters just started movies when they say they're going to start.
Oh, too many previews and ads in front. Yeah.
Like, I don't mind previews.
No.
I think those are cool. It's like, hey, these movies are coming to theaters soon. But an Eminem ad, a Geico ad, like I'm seeing all the same ads right here in front of me currently watching basketball. It's like, I don't need every single one of those. Give me 2 trailers, a concessions ad, 2 more trailers, and then movie. Like, man, it's really gotten ridiculous.
Bro, you know what they need? Here's a hot take. So we were talking about this beforehand. Bring back intermissions.
Oh, yeah.
For any movie that's 2 hours long. And in that intermission, quietly play some ads. Because people are... Maybe you convince someone who's just sitting there to go get some M&Ms. Or, but you can start the movie a little more on time. And then I don't feel like I just hate that the movies don't start till 25 minutes after what your advertised start time is. I think that's baloney.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
How long it takes.
It's insane. Any cons, or do you have any more pros before we go to cons?
I didn't write any notes, so I'm sitting here just thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess there's probably things I dislike about the movie, but I didn't really pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it is a pro and a con. It's a con because while I don't think it's great, I think it's okay. But it's a pro because I honestly think this is Tom Holgenberg's best soundtrack since he did Mad Max. Because he's done the same thing for every movie ever since he did Mad Max.
Yeah.
And then this one was different.
Yeah.
It still had his drums.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more like synthy and upbeat. And I just liked that.
Yeah.
So thank you for like doing something different for once.
Nice.
But it was an okay soundtrack. I liked the music in it. I already kind of talked about that. There's Tracker's a pretty clear classic rock fan.
Oh yeah.
So that was fun. How was it integrated? Don't really care. It's not that type of movie.
No, it's not. It really isn't. No, you're true. You're spitting truth.
You had mentioned, or did you? I don't remember. Did you mention the cinematography?
I just thought in terms of especially fights.
Fights look good.
Especially after what did we just watch the other day that I was like, oh, I was complaining about. I think last week when I was talking about the Halo, like that show, those fights are just a pain to watch. They're so hard to track. They just try and do a bunch of one-ers and like in this,
yeah.
But everyone's moving fast because they're Spartans, and I don't know.
Dude, the one-shot action sequence has gotten so out of hand. Everybody has to do it now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, it is really cool. A well-edited, choreographed fight scene.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the benefit with completely CGI characters is that you can really hone that in during the edit, right? Like, you're not locked into what you shoot.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to like make a decision on what you're going to render out, but like you can kind of experiment with it a little longer in the process, and I think that bodes well for is it Daughtry? Mike Daughtry is the director.
Adam Wingard.
Adam Wingard. Why am I thinking Mike? Oh, why am I thinking Mike Daughtry?
I don't even know who
I don't know.
that
Adam
is.
Wingard. Anyways, Adam Wingard has done just a really good job with all three of his Godzilla.
American composer and pianist.
I think he did one of the Godzilla
Did he do
soundtracks.
Bear McCreary
No.
did Godzilla 2. What am I looking up?
I don't know, Mike.
I don't even know.
I don't know. Look, I did zero research, so no. The point being is that I do think that the editing on this is pretty well done. I do think that at times, because we're spending so much time in Hollow Earth, you lose sense of scale, and Kong is not around humans most of the film.
Yeah.
So
you have to kind of pay attention to the trees.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you'll see little white dots, and those are birds flying. Yeah. And that's it. And so, but for the most part, it feels like it's framed well, and it's easy to understand in terms of cinematic language. So, and when he gets to the fights, they're easy to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
they highlight all the cool things, and Godzilla charging up, or Kong when he gets his special bracelet.
Dude, the sound effect of Godzilla charging up will never get old.
No.
In any version.
It's so good.
Meow. But yeah. Oh, I guess that could be a con. More Godzilla.
Yeah, that'd be my only con, was
Dude, I love how Kong's played. It's just like, I'm gonna go piss off Godzilla.
I did thoroughly enjoy when he shows up and Godzilla's just like charging at him, and he's like, no, friend, like he can't talk.
We need to
go
down the hole.
He's like just trying to drag him into the hole at one point. It's like, can I trick Godzilla to fall into the hole?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just doing everything he can.
And then it's a spoiler, but a pro would be another monster that was in it that was not in the marketing.
Yeah. They did a good job of keeping most of the monsters out of the marketing, actually.
Way to sell it on your two leads.
Yeah. At this point, they know people will just show up for those two, and everything they fight is just icing on the top.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, cool. What are you gonna give this?
I give it a fanboy worthy. It's nothing like amazing film wise. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if you're like me and you love watching giant anything, punch other giant anything, insert whatever you want in there. Robots, monkeys and lizards, giant flesh robots, like whatever Attack on Titan is. I think you're gonna like this. It's fun. Yeah, it's just a blast.
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of where I land too. I personally don't think it's not a good movie, but it is fun. It knows what it's trying to do, and I think it does it pretty well. So I'll give it a little fanboy worthy. That surprises me saying it even now out loud. But I'm like, we're having fun talking about it. I'm remembering my enjoyment of things. I didn't walk away utterly disappointed in any one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Minor nitpicks, like that's a fanboy worthy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, good job. You officially crept back up on the charts for me, because the last two were pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
Not dumpster fires, but pretty low.
Yeah, I don't know if you hated it, but you were not a fan of Godzilla vs. Kong. Which I honestly think is better.
I don't know.
And the critics agree too.
Yeah.
I think that movie's certified fresh at like
how
70.
How
Let's look it up. Now I need to make sure I'm not lying to myself.
That's right. Rotten Tomatoes.
RottenTomatoes.gov.
.rus. No.
76.
76.
Certified fresh.
Oh, all right. Look,
I love all of them though.
Yeah.
What would you say the worst one is? What do you think it's Godzilla 2? Is that your least favorite? Or is it Godzilla vs. Kong?
Godzilla 2 is still trying to do some of the stuff that Godzilla 1 did, just like
Poorly.
It just does it poorly. So like it gets some credit there, I think, for me. I think Godzilla vs. Kong was just such a, we're just gonna make this monkey 5 times larger, and like that just it's Godzilla vs. Kong is the worst one for me. It is. Yeah, no, easy.
Oh,
The helicraft carrier fight.
Oh, so cool.
So dumb.
It's so awesome.
So dumb.
Dude, Kong was panicking and I was too. He's like, bro, I can't breathe underwater. Godzilla's just like, I can do this all day.
I can do this all day. No, look, they're all special.
And I'm assuming Godzilla 1 is your favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But honestly, Skull Island
is my favorite.
Right up there.
Yeah.
It's so different from Godzilla, but in a great way.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, it's like Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and then there's like big old drop to, I don't know.
Godzilla 2.
Probably Godzilla 2, and then,
GXK.
And then GXK, and then
the bottom.
GVK.
God vs. Kong. And obviously, for comment's sake, we know King Kong is not a monkey. He's a great ape. He's a gorilla. We know.
We don't have enough people watching this to call us out on that.
Oh, I'm going to call us out on it. I'm going to the comments. I'm like,
well, over in the chat, Tyler says I am objectively incorrect. Aircraft carrier fight is top tier cinema.
Dude, it's
I think
so
he agrees
awesome.
with you.
Oh yeah,
it's something.
I should rewatch that movie.
Tell you that much. It is something.
The movie was S tier.
Okay. Real quick, I wrapped up watching the 3 Body Problem. Something equals awesome is what Tyler says. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I think this is funny. You finished 3 Body Problem. I have not. I had
you had like 2 episodes left, and I had like 6, and I've finished it, and you have not.
I'll go quick real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I just think it is a testament to the show, and it's not on purpose. I forgot that I was watching it. I was liking it, but I kind of started doing other things, and like there's Shogun and The Bad Batch out there too for me to watch. I forgot about it, and I guess that is a bad thing, so I give it a Matthew McConaughey.
Unfinished Matthew McConaughey.
Ooh,
dang!
Okay, now you can review it.
I think this is an interesting first season of what is a very complicated show. I ultimately found myself really enjoying it. It is a character-driven show, and it's interesting. The further you get into the show, like after you're past the first 2 episodes, it gets real sci-fi for like 4 more episodes. But then like the last 2.5 episodes are super chill on the sci-fi aspect of it. There's obviously still elements there, but it's what I found fascinating and really appreciate about it, that it was much more of a let's look into why these characters are feeling this way about being a part of the world and what's happening, because this is kind of centered around this little group of friends.
They're all nerds.
Nerds gonna save the world, baby.
Heck yeah.
But some of the stuff with the the VR game that we were talking about, that really drops off after a point. And that's intentional, that there's a story reason behind that.
Yeah.
But also just some of the science of the three-body problem. The show, despite being called the three-body problem, is... I think Luke alluded to this last week, where it was like you were kind of talking about how vague they are about some of the science and the reasoning behind things. You get as much information as you need, but it's certainly not poured out on a full plate of like, here is what is going on. Mm-hmm. I think they're trying to hold a little bit of mystery there still. For better or worse, I'm not sure. But some of the more interesting things are, I think, going to be left for a season 2.
Classic.
Which is a pretty classic move. But I'm still very happy with what we got in season 1. There's some really sad stuff that happens at the end. Some really like... what is happening kind of stuff, which is always good for me. I mean, I appreciate a little bit of mystery, especially if you're not, if you're wrapping up a story, wrap it up. But if you're, chapter 1 to chapter 2ing it, okay, let's see what chapter 2 has for us. Tyler over in the chat says, fun fact, the Oxford 5 represent one character in the book. Oh, wow. So
that's interesting.
That is very interesting.
So that's a pretty big change.
That's a huge change. But I really like the dynamics that they have, these characters that they have.
I like 4 of them. I'm
like
on the record.
Yeah, the entire show is different. Okay. Well, yeah.
So that's how you make the unfilmable filmable.
Yeah,
you just completely change it.
You just completely change it.
We skipped the first book.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of really interesting things here. There are some things specifically alluding to the three-body problem and the kind of the cult that's around that that I think are a little underserved, especially in the second half of the season. That is a gold mine for season 2, I assume. So what the show did do was get me invested in the characters that we have and get me excited for where we're going with the season 2. And in that regard, I think it's a fanboy worthy. It doesn't have to be the biggest, most expensive sci-fi show on the face of the planet to get me engaged and wanting more. So will it get a season 2? I don't know. But Tyler also says the book takes place in China. They moved it to London to adapt it to a Western style story. Oh, is the book okay, Tyler? Is the book more about the one there, because there's the kind of the prelude at the beginning of the first episode of the show. Is it about that character, that girl? Is the book more about her, or is it still like a daughter or someone, a descendant, or I don't know? Because her story's, again,
it's
interesting as well.
The one who sends the message.
Yeah. She is part of it, but it follows someone else. All right, cool. I don't know. I like this first season. I think it's worth a watch.
I need to finish it.
Luke needs to finish it. Yeah.
I got so distracted by Full Metal Alchemist again.
Dude, when you're watching something you love, it's definitely it's easy for that to happen.
That is just one of the best shows. And I know I'm not a huge anime watcher. I dip my foot in every once in a while, but man, I love that freaking show, and it just grabbed me by the. It grabbed me.
Yep. All right, well, we can move on to some news now.
Snooze?
You snooze, you lose. What all happened this week? Was there... I don't have much written down here. I'm going to pull up...
I've got 3 things.
Hit me with what you got.
I'm going to start with a cool one.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan and Emma Thomas are going to be knighted.
That's right.
So there'll be Sir Christopher Nolan and Dame Emma Thomas.
Yep.
Congrats. That is awesome. All it took was to get an Oscar, I guess.
Can...
The king was just over there. It's like, just get an Oscar and I'll knight you, buddy. That's all you got to do.
The king was like, I've been wanting to do this for years, but Elizabeth... She wasn't.
She was really disappointed in the Dunkirk movie.
Oh no, good for them. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I wish we had something of equivalence over here in America.
No, they have it. They can.
I think it would be cool.
They can have their thing. We have the TikTok stars and content creators to.
Oh, I would much rather have...
We have Obama who given himself the necklace meme. That's good enough.
It's good
That's
enough.
all I need.
That's all.
It's one of the best memes.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. What's your second story?
This is not as fun.
Oh.
The next two are not as fun. But Embracer Group sold Gearbox.
That's right. To Take-Two.
Has Embracer Group released anything ever? This is a legitimate question because I didn't research it.
I will look it up.
Because I feel like they have just bought stuff and immediately sold it.
That probably sounds about right.
They haven't even released anything Lord of the Rings yet. They've owned them for a couple years now. How long have they even owned Gearbox? That's another question.
2021. They owned them for three years.
So they just greenlit the Borderlands movie and then dipped? Like,
look, if we've learned anything,
they're like, get Eli Roth.
The entertainment industry is just a big Ponzi scheme, so
they're all laundering money.
Yeah.
But hey, I just hope people get to keep their jobs.
Yeah,
because I know
crossed.
when people get sold and bought, things tend to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hope as many people get to keep their jobs as they can, and they get to make games that they want to make.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that also seems to be a problem right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like developers don't get to make stuff they make. They're just like, hey, we want a live service game.
Oh, Tyler thinks that they put out the Gollum game.
Great track. Oh, they put out a dwarf mining survival game, I think, too.
Look, with as much as they own, they've probably put out something or a number of things, but obviously nothing has been like, oh wow, that's been amazing and it's changed, been a worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe we just shouldn't have like holding groups be in charge. Maybe we shouldn't have conglomerates. Uh-oh, careful. Brett's gonna go on.
You're about to get sniped. The dude who got the guy from Boeing's about to get you.
I'm holding I'll bear bite my lip.
It's okay. We don't have enough followers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Tyler won't turn on us.
Tyler's gonna snipe you.
Oh my goodness. All right, what was your last thing?
The U.S. has... I can't read it.
The U.S. has the Presidential Medal of Freedom is what Baroque is saying.
Oh, is that from our knighting?
Yeah, decidedly less cool than knighthood / damehood, but
you
a rough equivalent. Yeah, you're right. It is a rough equivalent.
You don't get a sir or a dame.
You don't get a title change. Yeah.
It's just like, hey, I'm Luke.
I got a presidential.
I'm Luke. Here's my medal.
Or Medal of Freedom. Oh.
What was my other story?
Yeah.
This was extremely random, honestly, I thought. Alex Garland is in the middle of his press tour for
Civil War.
For Civil War, and he was like, I'm not going to direct movies anymore. I've fallen out of love with filmmaking.
Coming
Like what?
coming from a guy who's been working with
Dude is
A24 and has
broken.
had an immense amount of creative control.
It's like you expect this to come from the dude who's
You expect this to come from the dude
like
who's
Zack
making.
Snyder.
Well, I
It's
was
like,
gonna say
they keep ruining my movies.
who has made 3 of the like same-ish Godzilla movies time and time again, right? Like,
No, he's dancing on the red carpet going,
oh yeah, no, he's Adam Wingard's having a blast, but Alex Garland over here, like, man, it just filmmaking has broken me.
yeah. It's like, oh man,
Oh, that's so sad, because he's I think he's an excellent filmmaker. I think he's such a good filmmaker. He is still wanting to write.
Thank goodness, he's a great writer.
Yeah, so I am. The silver lining here for me is that, we may get more of his stories just with different directors attached to them than we would if he was, spending 2 to 2.5 to 3 years writing and then directing the film. It's like he can probably write a couple scripts in a year. Those will get sent out.
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 of them gets picked up.
Dread 2?
Yes, please.
Do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it. Everybody. Sir Christopher Nolan was like, where's Dread 2? It's like, I don't have time to direct it, but like, where's that? Actually, he's probably wondering where Fast and Furious 10 Part 2 is.
Yeah, that's true. He is a Fast and Furious fan. We learned about that, didn't we?
That's my guy.
Yep. Not really a huge news story. We'll probably cover it more if something big actually happens, but there's kind of an internal battle right now over at Disney for the chairman of the board seat. I don't think it'll go away from Iger, but
should it?
Maybe it. I mean, look, there's certainly a. I don't know. I don't know what I want because I don't know.
I'm sure there's some other 70 to 80-year-old white man they can give it to.
Absolutely.
They're dime a dozen.
Yeah. Oh.
But man, it must be worth all that money. I feel like that'd have to be one of the worst jobs.
I can't even imagine. It sounds awful.
There's probably a bunch of news stories that we missed, but they're all fake.
It is April Fool's. Happy April Fool's Day.
Nah, I hate this.
Yeah, I kind of stay away from things too.
Once I became a fan of movies and TV shows and gaming, the day was ruined.
Real quick before we wrap up, let me go over to our Twitter because we did have a fan box question. Oh, this is that issue. Remember what I talked about last week, or was it 2 or 3 weeks ago? I can't get to my settings to change my profile on X if I'm in landscape mode.
I think it sounds like a personal problem.
Look, I have many personal problems. No, I don't want to check it out. Get out of communities. Ugh. Where is anything? Okay. Baroque sent this in. Fanbox Q, do you have any plans to see the cultural extravaganza that is Shin Yun coming this weekend at the Century 2 Concert Hall? It is my professional opinion that you absolutely should. I told y'all about this like 3 months ago, so I don't want to hear any, I don't know what that is, I've never heard of it. Yeah, I've seen this advertised in the Warren for like 4 months now, I think. I keep seeing it on YouTube as well. So you were not the only person to inform me about it, Baroque. That said, I just don't do I should do more theater. I just don't go out and see that many shows. So
I'm not gonna see it. I don't want to. I don't care to. No offense.
I'll say that it looks interesting, but again, it's just not my forte. I don't do that enough, so I have not made plans to go see it. But I assume maybe you're gonna go see it, and you should let us know. You already have seen it clearly, so you know it's good. But yeah, no, I've heard a lot about it. Just don't have the time, man. Who has time? I barely have time to go see movies, feels like. And we've got a busy couple weeks coming up.
Yeah, you can say that again.
There's a lot of movies coming out in the next couple weeks, so.
Oh, you're just talking about movies.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were talking about life.
I mean, life is also crazy. Oh, yeah.
Dang, man.
Life is crazy. Actually, this week is a little bit of a breath of fresh air for me.
Somebody tell life to freaking relax a little
Next
bit.
week's going to be crazy, though. And then the week after that, and then the week after that, and forever and ever until I die. Anyways, we won't get dark. We won't get dark on this podcast. We're a happy podcast.
Are we?
I suppose so.
It depends if we're talking about Star Wars or not. Or Zack Snyder. Could be happy, could be very unhappy.
Fair enough. Well,
that's coming out soon too. That comes out in April.
Do you want to? Yeah.
Scargiver.
Yeah, part 2. Do you want to talk about anything else you did this week, Luke?
I kind of talked about Full Metal. I just went crazy with that and watched all of it.
Love it.
One of the best shows. Shogun, Bad Batch, fantastic. I won't spend too much time on stuff I've kind of already talked about. So.
Sweet.
That's it.
Great. I don't know what else. I haven't watched a ton. I got through 3 by. I'm revisiting Brooklyn Nine-Nine kind of in my while I'm eating lunch or something, and I just need something to kind of throw on. Man, that show's funny. So good.
I haven't watched it. I've seen a couple episodes, but
I enjoy it a lot. But I'm a huge fan of Andy Samberg, so yeah, he was kind of the SNL funny man when we were in college, high school, college.
Yeah,
and that was the perfect time. I think kind of
when we were in college,
you have that impressionable era for comedy, right?
Yeah,
and there's 5 years I think that you can kind of that's your niche.
When it was Sandberg and Lonely Island,
yeah,
Bill Hader,
yep,
Kristen Wiig,
yep.
When they're at SNL was the time I never actually watched SNL on TV.
But it's when you would watch all of the clips and
you would hear
skits.
about clips.
Yeah.
Multiple clips from the show, and you'd go on YouTube and you'd watch them, and I never hear about that show anymore. Unless it's somebody super famous.
Yeah.
Or I guess Travis Kelce, I heard when he went on there, because, he plays for the Chiefs, so since I'm in Chiefs Twitter, they let you know, but...
Yeah, they do. They do. But yeah, nope, other than that, I've been doing, I don't know, I guess, what can I say? We wrapped up production on The Broken Door, our short film. So that's done. We've started submitting it to film festivals, so fingers crossed, knock on wood, thoughts and prayers. We appreciate all of it for, this summer and this fall. Hopefully that gets accepted in some places, but before too long...
I'll accept it.
I know you will. But before too long, that means it will be publicly available at some point. So be excited about that. We're kind of starting pre-production on another short film. And just this weekend, I had a little bit of a spark of inspiration. So I started writing yet another short film. So, I've
Look at him go.
Things coming out of my brain, and I'm just trying to get it on paper. So, hopefully one day
it's a creative explosion.
You all can experience it in one way or another. So, real quick over in the chat, Brooke said, I saw a meme that said something about your favorite era of SNL was when you were in high school, and that's definitely accurate for me. I think that's kind of what we're talking about. There's that end of high school where, and beginning of, maybe if you don't go to college, but if you go to college, early college, late high school, 18 to 20s, early 20s, where it just hits for you for whatever reason. So, Andy Samberg, Maya Rudolph, Amy Poehler, Bill Hader, Will Forte, great times, indeed. Those are all big names, gone on to do really fun and big things. So, Bill Hader was not the one that I would have, out of that group, that I would thought, he's going to make something that I love that's not just a straight comedy. But here he is.
Making Barry.
Making Barry, man. Freaking Barry. So good. So good.
I should finish that show.
I should too. I haven't finished it either, so
That show was fantastic.
feel bad for that, but I need to.
Nah, I don't feel bad for not finishing something. You're an adult.
I don't have time. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, for listening. It was a good, quick show this week. Ended in an hour, so.
Yeah, look at us.
Look at us.
It'll never happen again.
We'll see you next week. Can I end the show just from right here? Edit stream info. Nope, I don't know how.
Just throw something at your
I'm just gonna have to get up and move and touch it. So no one look at me while I'm doing this awkwardly. But we'll see you next week.